my channel, folks, and today I'm making meatloaf and mashed potatoes. We're going to do it real simple and easy. We're going to use some ground chuck. I got 2 packs. I got some gloves here to help me mix it all up. We're going to use instant mashed potatoes. You just add water and butter. Got the sour cream and chive. We got the home-style chicken gravy. We got the crackers. We got the onion mix I like to use. We're going to use 1 egg, and we're going to use these seasonings right here. Real easy to do, y'all. Let's get it. Okay, like I mentioned, we're going to use this Recipe Secrets by Lipton. It's basically an onion soup and dip mix, but I like to use it for my meatballs and my meatloaf because it adds a nice oniony flavor. We're going to use some garlic powder, Lawry's seasoning salt, black pepper, and right here is the pork barrel barbecue seasoning and rub. This is optional. If you don't have it, that's fine. This also has like a nice little smoky paprika flavor. So if you have paprika, you could use a little bit of that in case you don't have this. Or don't use it at all. It's alright. First, we're going to plop in both of our packages of the meat. That's 1. And then we're going to plop in the other. You're going to use ground chuck. It has the best flavor, in my opinion, for meatloaf. Now on to the seasonings. It's going to be a tablespoon of garlic powder, a tablespoon of Lawry's seasoning salt, a teaspoon of pepper. If you like it a little more spicy, add a tablespoon. A teaspoon of that pork barrel barbecue seasoning or paprika if you have it. And now we're going to open up our Lipton's onion soup mix. Now see all the onions and the flavors in there? That is delicious. So you don't need to add onion to this because we're going to pour this whole package in. Okay. See the onions and the spices there? It smells real good already. Now what we want to do now is get 1 egg. Doesn't matter the size. We're going to get that cracked and we're going to start mixing up some of our ingredients inside. Let me grab the egg. Give her a crack. There it is. Now we're about to get to mixing. It's real easy to do. Just make sure you get everything incorporated. You know, break the egg down up inside real good. Just like that. Now we're going to go ahead and get our crackers crunched up. You can put them in the blender or crunch them by hand. It all depends on what you like. You can also use Peko crumbs. So once we get those all cracked up, I'm doing it by hand. Blender not working. We're going to use about half the pack. Get them all crunched up. I do prefer to use a blender, but, you know, or a food processor, but you can only use what you can use when you can use it. So today is going to be manual labor with the hands of crunching. Real easy to do. You don't want any big chunks. So if you can, if you're using your hands, crunch them up as best as you can. See, I got them popping out the package already. Okay. That looks to be about good enough. So now I'm going to go ahead and pour that top half of the crunched up crackers in there. Now you don't want it overly crackery. You know what I mean? You just want enough crackers in there to be able to mix it up and combine with that egg to make a solid loaf. Okay, that's about enough. And then got to get back to it. Get back up in there and get to mixing. Okay, now that we've gotten it all mixed up, this is what we're going to use to make our mold. If you're interested in using this recipe for meatballs, follow the same instructions and just roll your meat into a little ball like this. See? And now you got a nice little meatball. Pop that in the pan in the oven. You good to go. So here I formed my little meatloaf patty. Got me a nice pan. You can put it in a oven roaster, whatever you got to put it in there. I'm simple. I'm using what I got. You can put it in a casserole dish that's oven safe, but I'm using an old school style pan. And I made my little mound, just the shape of a meatloaf. You can see some of the crackers there, some of the onions. I think it's pretty. Yeah, that works for me. It's cute. Now we're going to get our gravy started, okay? Now, you might be wondering, why am I using chicken gravy? Well, it's because that chicken flavor adds something real special to the beef. So, I'm going to put this in the pot, turn my stove on low just to warm it up so I can taste it to see if I need to add anything. Certain brands, you have to add something. So, I got that on about 4. And then in the back here, the pot in the back, I got my water on 6 to get the boiling so we can get that mashed potatoes on and popping. Trying to get everything done at the same time. Now we're giving a check in on the meatloaf and it's browning. Now the white you see at the bottom of the loaf is the fat. That's normal. That's supposed to happen. It's not going to always look pretty. But it's coming along nicely. If you can see some of the fluids coming out, the juices, they're clear. It needs a little more time in the oven, and that's fine. It's looking good. Okay, now on for the potatoes. Real easy. 2 cups of boiling water, add the package and stir. Cover, let stand for 5 minutes. Now, as y'all have probably watched me make these before, I don't listen to what they say because their directions don't fit me. So I got my water boiling, and I'm going to go ahead and add the concoction here for the mixture, the potatoes. And then once I get that going, see how it's bubbling real hard? I'm going ahead and stir it up. Now, a lot of times I don't follow the directions because the directions just don't be working for what I'm doing. Like, seriously, y'all need to improve y'all directions. But I appreciate you. Okay, so I'm getting this mixed up. You see how thick it's getting already? That's how I like it. I'm going to get it a little thicker, and I thought it would be more in this package. But we got to work with what we work with. Just potatoes, something simple. You can also make potatoes from scratch if you like. But, you know, I don't feel like doing that right now, so I didn't. But this is really fast and simple. Getting a nice home-cooked meal, quick and easy. Look, they're done. That's all. You want to make sure your heat is off so they don't stick. Now back to the gravy. I want to stir this up and give it a taste to see if I need to add anything. And with this type of pan I'm using, or pot, you want to stir it so it don't stick. But if you're using a good temperature, it shouldn't. Let me get at a taste. Okay, now from tasting that, I already know I need to add me some pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, a little seasoning salt, and some butter. Pickle with a pepper. Just a little, not too much. Just a little sprinkle dinkle. Some onion. I mean, it's got a nice texture, but that flavor, it ain't hitting for me. So I'm using their base ingredients and I'm adding my own. So I'm going to add a little garlic powder too. And this is all to taste. There's no rules here. I mean, you can make your own gravy for the meatloaf. And some people actually use like this ketchup concoction for meatloaf. That's just not my bag, baby. I like gravy. Now I'm going to go ahead and add the butter. I'll say a teaspoon. Now don't get me wrong. You add what you like. If you want the ketchup, go for the ketchup. If you want some gravy, some beef gravy, do what you like. I'm just doing it Poetic does its way. You feel me? The gravy is a good brand. It's a very nice brand, except it ain't giving me the flavors I was trying to have. So don't think you need to buy this particular brand of gravy and then concoct it the way I did. Give it a taste first, but always taste it. Don't just trust their seasoning techniques, because that definitely lead to a hookup like I just gave it. Okay, so that's all set and good. I'm going to go ahead and check on the meat. Okay, now check it out. The meatloaf is done. So easy to make. It took about an hour. Now, you see it's still sizzling. So what we're going to do before we serve this, you're going to let that rest for about 10 minutes, okay? And then you can plate up. Now, if you notice, all the liquid that's running from it is clear. We got the fat that has deposited in the bottom of the pan. That's normal. Okay, this is about, I think this is about 2 pounds. So we're cooking 2 pounds of meat at 160 degrees. If you like it pink in the center, that is totally up to you. I like to make sure that egg is completely cooked. So 160 and make sure everything is cooked through. Alright, we all plated up now. But I gotta make my little dip for my gravy. Let me go ahead and get my spoon. Now I mentioned this before. Some people like this ketchup type concoction sauce, marinara thing going on top of their meatloaf. And by all means, there's nothing wrong with that. I just prefer gravy. Chicken gravy, that is. You know what I mean? I've had the meatloaf before like that, and it's just, I prefer it this way. It has so much more of a savory flavor to me, and it goes so damn well with these mashed potatoes. So let me go ahead and give it a taste. Look at that, it's already juicy. You can see the juicy without the gravy. If I can get that to focus. Look at that. So soft, moist, delicious, it's flavorful, and that gravy adds that extra like I'll be talking about. So good. Look at that. You see that juice? That's the juice from the meat itself, not from the gravy. It ain't no dryness up in here now. I'm gonna give it a mixture with some of the mash, a little tap of that gravy. Now I already know these on point. I don't like their directions on the pan, but I do love the way their instant potatoes taste. And then you know you gotta do the classic. Get some of that meat, get some of the potatoes, smoosh it on that fork, and eat it up. So pretty. It's hot too. That is delicious, y'all. So simple, so easy to do. You get those ingredients, you pop them all together in that bowl, you mix them things up, put your oven at 350 degrees, and an hour later, you have a nice, juicy, delicious meatloaf. You can choose to make your potatoes from scratch. I choose to do it Poetic Does Its way because I ain't got time for all that. But I still want that home-cooked meal feel with all that hard-ass work. You know, don't nobody got time for that. Alright, y'all. That's all I've got. If you got any suggestions, any recipes, or anything like that you would like to share, please send it in the comments or to my Gmail at poeticdoesit@gmail.com. If you have anything that's not too weird or expensive, I'll definitely try to give it a try. Alright? See you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Peace.